Welcome to the Painter Marketing Mastermind Podcast, a show created to help painting company owners build a thriving painting business that does well over $1 million in annual revenue. I'm your host, Brandon Pierpont, founder of Painter Marketing Pros and creator of the popular PCA educational series, Learn, Do, Grow, Marketing for Painters. In each episode, I'll be sharing proven tips, strategies, and processes from leading experts in the industry on how they found success in their painting business. We will be interviewing owners of the most successful painting companies in North America and learning from their experiences. What is going on, everybody? Brandon from Painter Marketing Pros here. We have Juan Vasquez of Illusions Painting. Juan and I are good friends, so I'm very, very excited for this one. We are going to be talking about our podcast series, Mindset Matters Most. We had 5 episodes in that podcast series. This is your opportunity. If you listen to this series, which hopefully you did, you have the opportunity to ask follow-up questions, anything we didn't cover that you wish that we had covered. You can ask them now. If you didn't listen to this series, tune in. You're going to learn a lot. Ask questions if any arise. But yeah, let's get this thing started. Juan, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. How you doing, Brandon?
Good. I feel like we need some beers or something. It's weird having this coffee after
no more beer for us, man. I think we had enough. We had enough in where was it? Somewhere. Nashville?
No, we were in Orlando on that one. Did we?
Oh yeah.
Might have had some.
No, we did have a couple in Nashville.
Yeah, we had quite a few in that. Anyways, moving on from that. Don't have to worry about that.
Salud, I got coffee today.
Today's coffee day. So I'm gonna quickly just the best way that I've found to really start these out is we're gonna do just a little quick recap of the podcast series. Juan, you can kind of talk through it a little bit, and then as you guys have questions, do chime in. Remember, this is really your opportunity to get the questions. Is the whole point about it, because you can listen to those 5 podcast episodes already in the series. Mindset Matters Most. We were really looking into Juan's journey. He came in as an immigrant. He had a little bit of a different start to his journey. He had a scarcity mindset, right? Kind of a different mindset from what he currently has. Juan, in episode 1, he discussed his past life, what his business used to look like. In episode 2, he discussed the experience that really opened his eyes, changed his life. Stage 3, episode 3 was really the transitions that were necessary for him to implement after that mindset changed. Because as anyone who's gone through transformation knows, it doesn't just, you realize it and all of a sudden everything's perfect. There's a lot of transformation work that has to happen. Episode 4, Juan opened the hood and let us all know what's going on with Illusions Painting today, what it looks like. And then episode 5, Juan laid out thoughts regarding lack of self-confidence, stereotypes, and the current initiatives he is undertaking to really help other contractors right now. Juan, what's going on? Take it away, man.
Not much, man. You're making me relive this again, man. No, I think it was so great to talk to you about this because it gives us some time to realize sometimes how far we have become. I mean, it doesn't have to be millions of dollars. It's just overcoming just the adversity, overcoming our mindset. I think that's very huge because we are guided or driven by just how much we think we're capable of doing. So the minute that I think that you can surpass that, you surprise yourself on actually how much you can do. And I think that's actually been something that has really has been happening to me in the last few years. Is understanding that we are capable of. If we can see it, if we can imagine it, we can create it. And so that's the power of mindset.
I love it. So yeah, just something I did forget. If you're listening to this live, if you're with us live right now, if you could just put a hashtag live, hashtag LIVE in the comment, that way we know you're here. If you're listening to the recording, we are recording it. I saw Nidia at Fresh Coat Painters had a question. We are recording. You should be at your State of the Union right now, actually, Nidia, but I'm glad that you're here for a second. Just put hashtag recording. That lets us know that you recorded it. You watched the recording. So yeah, mindset, nice. What you're possible of. And I think you had a bit of a glass ceiling going on for yourself.
Yes.
What changed your mindset?
I mean, I can. I don't think I can. I don't think a lot of us have really great ideas. A lot of us have really like we have goals in life, but sometimes we just don't know. I mean, how to implement them. We don't know what we need to do with them. We don't know what these mean. So I think what really changed for me, and I always talk about this, is the PCA. It's me coming across the PCA. For those who you don't know, this is the Painting Association, yeah, Contractors Association. And I guess it's just like you have all these intentions, like you have all these that you want to give, you just don't know how. So what changed everything for me is being able to land in a place where you have a lot of, like-minded people, like-minded contractors, like-minded business owners that are looking to improve themselves. And I think that's really what changed everything for me, because I figured out that I wasn't alone, though I wasn't the only one with these crazy thoughts, that I was just looking for the one way, and I found it through networking and PCA. So for me, that was, I think, a very big turning point.
Yeah, I love it, man. So you went to the PCA, and that was 2018, correct?
Yep, that was 2018.
Expo. Was that your first in-person event?
That was the first in-person event. In 2017, I did a Sherwin-Williams event down in California, and I was introduced by O'Brien Painting. God, I'm
Josh.
sorry, I was rushing around. Josh Abramson.
Yep.
So I was introduced to PCA in 2017, and as we spoke in the beginning here, I came back and we actually put this trip on a credit card. It's funny because we joke around a lot. Right? I mean, we joke around with Jose, and we're like, Jose, we're gonna go to this PCA event, and he's like, how are we gonna do this? And I'm all like, I don't know, the company is gonna pay for it. And he's like, okay, the company doesn't have any money. I'm like, dang it. Okay, we'll put it on a credit card. And honestly, we did. I think it's about $2,800 on a credit card. We had no money, but let me tell you, it was one of the best investments I think I've done so far for myself and in the business.
Yeah, I know. Big Joe. I know you had to.
Big Joe, yeah.
Being called Big Joe. I know you had to sort of drag him out there that first year.
Yeah. 1 second. I'm trying to tell him and see where he's at, because he's supposed to be here.
Someone said they're looking forward to PCA 2024. I'm looking forward to that as well. If you're not registered, get registered. So we'll actually put a link up there in the comments for you. That's going to be back in Orlando. It's where it was in 2022. Really, really good spot. It's going to be at a Disney Swan, right? I believe that's where it's going to be.
The Dolphin? No, isn't it the Dolphin?
I don't know. It's one of these. One of those
things.
Right? It's going to be at a nice.
We need to get our facts straight, man.
Yeah. Uh-oh. It's going to be at a nice resort in Orlando.
I think that's so cool. So to anyone who hasn't experienced this, picture yourself, going to a nice resort, about 4 days or so out from work. You get to meet different people. You get to go to do some crazy experiences. Like, I know our friends from Sherwin always put on a nice event. You get to talk to some of the greatest minds in the industry, and then you come back home and you have all these crazy ideas. Believe me, I think just at least once in a life, if we are a painter, we want to experience that. If not, at least it's going to be, well, to this day, I haven't heard someone that says, you know what, I had the worst experience at the PCA. I haven't yet. So I suggest you do it. I honestly think that it'll probably not change your life, but it'll really give you something to move forward to.
Yep. What's going on, Ricardo? What's going on, Efron? What's going on, JB? Painting and wall covering. Got quite a few people tuning in. Fresco Painters of West Houston. Very excited to have you guys. PCA 2024 is going to be really great. There's actually going to be there's going to be tracks, so it's going to be done a little bit differently from how it's been done historically. There's going to be like a sales and marketing track. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. It's fine. It's going to be like a sales.
I don't know what we're supposed to say. We just say it.
Right? You get rewarded for coming. So there's going to be a sales and marketing track. There's going to be an owner track. There's going to be an operations track. So the one of the struggles of PCA Expo is there's all these presentations at the same time. So you have to kind of pick and choose where you want to go. This is really going to allow you not only to dissect really where you want to go. If you're really focused on sales and marketing, you probably want to stick closely to that track, but also allows you to bring more team members. You can bring your estimator, you can bring your project manager, focus on ops. You can bring different team members and really know where to put them throughout the expo. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think, I know that, we're just talking about the PCA, but in general, if we go back to it, it's just finding ways to involve ourselves, and not just us, but if we have, let's say, a project manager, we have a new business partner that we want them to really see and feel that experience. I think that's why it's so great, because they can actually see it from a different point of view. And I think that's just big, because sometimes we want a business partner or a project manager to understand what we're doing. And sometimes when we are the person explaining or showing them, they do see it, but when they see it from the other person, they're like, oh my God, or they see it from a different view. They're like, oh my God, he was right. And so, hey,
kids, it's like kids with their parents. Their parents
right?
It's like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Or like the dad's the coach. I coach our kids with some of their sports. Like, oh, don't worry, Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. And then another coach comes in just because he's not dad. Oh yeah, no, that makes total sense. That's how you're supposed to do it.
I saw you. What was it? Soccer?
I'm not coaching this one. I'm not coaching this one, but I'm. It's almost more fun not coaching because you can root on the sideline.
I will always say I will be the coach's aide. I don't want to be the coach.
Assistant coach is where it's at, man.
Right? I'll be the assistant coach. You tell me run and get water, I will get as much water as you need me to. Right?
We got John and Lena here from Jumbo Painting. Told me to spill.
Hey, what's up, John?
Yeah, they're awesome. They come to all the events. Very excited to see you guys. Fresh Coat Painters of West Houston. Yuri's team asked a great question. What has been the most challenging circumstance you have faced? It's a big question.
There's a lot. There's quite a few of those, let me tell you. But at some point, I think it was. I keep saying mindset because I think a few years back, 4 or 5 years ago, I was so limited just to what I felt that I can do. It's just when you have the limited belief in yourself, then I keep saying everywhere I go, opportunities will slap you on the face, will hit right in front of you, and you're not ready. So I think the biggest thing for me was that to really get out of the mindset, that state of mind to where like I am limited. And I'm not going to say right now that I feel that I can do everything in life, but I think that I've been exposed enough to now understand that if I set myself to it, I have a very good percentage that I am going to make it happen. There's always a 10% or so that I may not, but I will accomplish it. So surpassing the mindset and the mind capability, I think it was one of my toughest things to do. Oh, and speak in public. I think that was the worst one. Oh God, I used to shake. Now I get excited, man. I'm like, come on. What am I doing?
You're speaking all the time, man. Multiple languages all over the country.
But in the beginning, it was terrifying, and it's just something new, and I think we all have something like that,
Yeah. So basically for you, the struggle was really the mental roadblock to yourself to really believing that you could do it.
Yeah, just a lack of confidence in yourself sometimes. Some of us are, extreme. I've met some guys that are extremely bright. And they're like, man, but I'm not a painter. I'm like, shoot, I wish I wasn't a painter and I was just as smart as you are, so. Yeah.
So you went to PCA Expo, your mindset, you had never really been exposed. I remember you felt like you were a fraud, or like you didn't belong. You're on a table with people who are better than you, bigger than you, know more than you, whatever it is. What snapped? Like walk us through that, because that's such an important point. Believing that you can do it, understanding that you're not a superhero. I love you, Juan. You're not a superhero. I'm not a superhero, right? The people who make it aren't superheroes. They just believe they can do it and they keep going. So for anyone listening, we have someone here who says, I think how I'm limiting my mindset right now. What do you say to that person? How can they truly in their soul believe like, no, I can do this? It's a tough question, right? It's a big question.
It is, but the limit we have is the fear that we have. Honestly, I think it's at the end of the day, it's this fear that doesn't let us push forward. We can talk about money, we can talk about revenue, we can talk about a lot of things. And but when we're scared of failing, when we're scared of like, oh my God, what if I do it if it doesn't work out? If we're scared that we're not going to make a quarter, that's really what holds us. And I guess the scare part is different for everyone, every individual. Someone can be scared of not selling a job. Someone can be scared that, I know many reasons. For me, I guess it was more like acceptance. I think for me, it was like, who is going to listen to this, Mexican kid or Mexican, I'm not a kid anymore, but this Mexican guy. And I wish I was a little kid. But I think it was that fear, it was the fear of not being accepted or not really making sense of what I'm doing, or it's just the fear that I knew people knew so much more than I did. And I was like, who am I to try to tell someone something that I believe when they probably know 20 times better? So that was my fear.
Yeah. So someone put in here imposter syndrome, basically.
Yeah, there you go. That is true. But they say, you got to fake it till you make it.
Yeah. So when was another good question for you, Juan? When was the time? Like, at what point did you discover you owned the business and the business did not own you?
I mean, not till recently. You can see it. So I think a couple years back, 2-3 years ago, after going to the PCA, I actually realized that there was that I had a job. I didn't have a business. I had a job. So the minute we started doing this, these engagements for Sherwin-Williams, and I'm out of I'm away from the office, and I will get phone calls like there's no more, like, this is not happening, this is not working. So everything is like, okay, you don't own a business at that moment. I had a job. And so we came back, and I think it was just last year that we actually sat down and say, okay, this happens, right? So in the beginning, I'm talking about the beginning, a couple years ago, I actually felt that if I wasn't working here, most of my guys felt that I didn't want to work, that I was lazy, that what is Juan doing? Like, if he's not here, he's not working. So it took a while for them to realize that, and it's not something that I had to tell them, but for them to realize that I am doing a job of a leader. I am not doing the job of the boss of Illusions. I'm creating leadership, and I am creating different venues and different opportunities, not just for myself, but for our company and anyone that works in our company to grow. And so, that's when I really got that realization of saying, you know what, I am not scared to take off anymore, because now I feel that my guys do understand, and then they understand what is it that I am doing. And I am growing this business, and I am looking for opportunities for all of us. And I am not just being someone that just doesn't want to show up to work anymore, because we make sure that everything in our company is taken care of.
What an awesome point, man. I think that's not really talked about very much. So the idea that personal growth and growth as a leader, growth as a business owner is sometimes also going to affect your team, and maybe the way that your team looks at you. And this concept's just not really discussed. right? We say
Yeah.
work on your business, not in your business. Plan ahead, think long term, all this stuff, but we don't think about, but the guy that I was just painting next to, or the guy that, he's used to me being on site. Now all of a sudden I'm not there. Am I going to have a rift with my team? Am I going to have people who all of a sudden think I don't care, or they're making money and I'm just being greedy or lazy? So how do you deal with that?
It's funny because you hear all the time standards, SOPs, but do understand that in our business as we grow, our obligation is to keep our guys, our employees engaged, and we need to bring value to these people. If we don't, then maybe Juan is doing great things, Illusions is doing great things, but guess what? You can bring a couple of new employees that want to grow, and then they have this excitement to grow and do better, but then you don't deliver. So then what do? Then guess what? That is going to go away slowly, and then next thing you know, they're not going to believe you. You're not a leader for them. So that's why it's so important that we do take on the responsibility of being a leader. That leader needs to carry everyone. Everyone in the company has to believe those, and they have to carry those. And I think that's kind of this is what we really believe. We've been able to create a team. And when I say me, we as, I have Big Joe, then I have Adolfo, then I have Patty, then I have Isabel. So this is the team that behind the scenes are making sure that all this happens, are making sure that our guys get their paycheck every other week. They're making sure that if they have any type of issue regarding, I don't know, HR or a check or anything is taken care of. They want to make sure that their kids are, playing soccer, that when they're going to do the championship, that we're going to give them that time, or we're actually going to probably sponsor their uniform. You need to have them believe in you. And I think that was the biggest part. For us, having the type of crew that we have, is extremely important that they do understand that we are not doing this for Juan. We are doing this for a team, and that team is Illusions.
Yeah. Did you lose anyone as you made that transition?
I lost every single person that I worked with before. How about that?
You lost everyone. Growth is painful.
It is. You need to surround yourself with. We've had this conversation in the past, Brandon, where especially in painting, a lot of painters, we want someone who already knows the trade. We want someone who's already an experienced painter. But what happens is, with that experience, they come with everything else too. So you have someone who's been painting for 20 years. The day you tell them, like, I need a report, I need this, I need you to do all these things, they're like, hold on, I'm a painter, okay? I don't do office work, and so it takes a long time. You hear about the VIPs, right? Like, I can do what I want. This is me. This is, if you don't like it. And so, painfully enough, we had to get rid of. It's not that we had to get rid of them. A lot of them left. Most of them, we had to let them go. So most of our crew, I think that the guy who has the most time with us right now is probably about 5 years.
Yeah.
And now, we've taken a lot of time to train, to create videos, to grow our basically what's our standards. Like, I want you to grow up and understand that these are our standards, and you need to live by our standards. And the day that you don't, then you don't have a place for you in here. And it's not being rude, but this is actually protecting everyone in your business.
Yeah, I think that's a super good point. 5 years, that was after PCA Expo 2018. So you went and had a life-changing experience, and literally you've lost all the team members that were there. But I think it's so, like you say, VIP, very important, employees. I think it's so easy to be held hostage by people like that, especially if they're an estimator and they're great at sales. Or,
that's true.
They're a rainmaker. Sometimes you do have to rip the Band-Aid. Sometimes you do have to take a step back to take 3 forward. So don't let anyone hold your business hostage.
No, you have to have, as long as you have that clear and it's moving forward, and it has to be fair for everyone. And if it's not fair for someone, then you have to figure out what is it that is not fair.
Yep.
It's either you or it's either the employee,
Yep.
or even the employer.
Yeah, you have to decide the culture and make sure it makes sense, and then people who don't fit, they don't fit.
That's right.
So Oscar Rojas asks, Juan, what does a normal day look like for you?
It all depends, man. It all depends. We just had this conversation with with a friend of mine over in Nashville, and we're looking at a guy who's making $30 million a year, and we're like, man, what's the day in the life of a guy who makes 30 millions a day, in a year? I'm like, interesting. Day in my life is, I have a family. Most of my business, most of the people who work in the business are family as well. I have my sister, my brother-in-law, my son, my nephew, you name it, my two of my brother-in-laws. So for me, a day in the business, now it has changed. Before it was like put on a fire. You show up, and I was the fireman. I show up and put out fires all day. I think today, like I said, today was my first day with Chris Moore. If you guys don't know Chris Moore, awesome guy. Is it Elite or is it Elite?
Yeah, Elite Business Advisors.
Yes, awesome guy. First time I was too smart, so I never thought I needed help, right? So I was like, damn it, I'm too smart for this. But no, I realized that as a business owner, I need to strategize more. I need to create better strategies to grow, and I need to do more um, to grow and have a stable growth, for the next couple of years. And so it's been a few months that I want to do more coaching. So now, what a day is going to be for me, or it is for me, is I show up in the morning to our office. I have an agenda, and it is either talking to, mainly for me, is strategizing. How can we grow? Who do I need to talk to? Do I need to talk to my sales reps? Do I need to talk to my contractors? Do I need to talk to my painters? So mine is strategy. Those are my days. Like I try to take off around 3 or 4, and I pick up my daughter from school every day. My son, I have a grandkid that, I love going to the park nowadays. So now my life is changing, going back to having a 4-year-old in my life and going to the park. That to me is amazing. But what's great is I can pull out my computer, sit at the park while he's playing. I can do my work. So to me, that's ultimate, because now I can work anywhere I go. So my days are going to change, just like anyone that's listening to us, right? We have some good days, we have some bad days, and we have those days that we ask ourselves, what the are we doing here, right? Just like anybody else.
Yep. So Yuri, or a member of his team, Fresh Coat Painters of West Houston, said, I feel you, Juan. I was scared at first to speak to clients, but as time passes, I feel better. So keep up the good work. Awesome.
Thank you, man.
While we're on it, for people who are listening who did watch the series, I am curious if you could do #watched, and we'll put that in the chat. If you didn't watch it, then it's not going to be #didn't watch. It'll be #watch.
Like one who?
Yeah, I want to get kind of a baseline there. Another user asks, do you set goals for your business every year?
So I think we always have. I mean, I guess I always have, but I wasn't very consistent. So probably 2 years ago, it's when we really sat down and started thinking, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what we want to do. And this year, we had a very good vision and say, hey, we were going after certain contractors. We're going after this, and then we want to create this. We want to create our shop division, and we want to create those things. So we did set up some kind of visions, but then we went very like detailed. So today, sitting down with Chris, I believe that this is the first year that we're actually going to set concrete vision for the next year and the years to come. I'm scared, I'm telling you, because that's not normal for me, but we need to in order to grow. We got to get out of our comfort zone to grow.
Yep. Yeah. You never make strides in your comfort zone.
Nah, that's the comfort zone is a kill zone. That's what I call it,
Comfort zone is a kill zone. Yeah. If you're feeling comfortable, then you're probably not pushing hard. Someone says, "You the man, Juan." He's all right. We are afraid. We are afraid
No,
to
I'm
accept
not.
what we don't know. You're excellent. A lot of people agreeing with you. Super cool. All right. This is a neat
I
question.
can see
How was
them.
the
I can
feeling?
read them.
You can read them. Yeah. How was the feeling on making your first million? This is like 3 questions. We'll start with this one. How was the feeling?
Yeah. Funny story, and man, I can go on about this, right? Funny story. God, what's his name? God, just lost it. I had it in the back of my mind. Tom Reader.
Yep.
Yes. So after my first time, I went to the PCA. The second time I came back, and then that's the first time I heard about webinars, right? And so Tom Reader was having a webinar about like your first million, or like, how do you approach your first million? And I was like, I'm all excited, and I get into this chat room, and it was 4 of us across the country, and he's asking like, okay, so it's like, so what do you want to do this year? What's your goal? And I was like, ask everyone, and comes to me, he's like, oh, I want to make $1 million. And he looks at me, and Tom, and he's like, say, all right. He comes to me, I was like, he's like, I don't know how to answer to that. I'll come back to you. He goes and asks everyone, comes to me, he's like, all right, he's like, okay, tell me, Juan, what do you want to make $1 million? And my question was, I don't know, just sounds cool. And that was my answer. I was like, fuck, stupid. Sounds cool. He just kind of looked at me. And
cover of Forbes.
Right. Cool. Yeah, $1 million. So he goes like, listen, he was like, okay, perfect. He goes like, my advice to you is to prepare yourself, study, learn, educate yourself. So when you make that $1 million, you're going to know what to do with it. I'm like, very true. So what I can tell you now is that I never saw the $1 million. I think the first time we were at about 800. The next year we come around, we were like 1.8. So the $1 million, we overpassed it, and I never saw it. So it is a big milestone, but it's more how we prepare ourselves for it. Because if you're not ready, I mean, like I said, what are you going to do with it? That's another opportunity that it's not going to matter. And it's not that it didn't matter for me. It's just that I think I was over prepared for the $1 million. I think I was already ahead of my head when that $1 million hit.
So when you say prepare for the $1 million, so you know what to do with it, are you talking about personal investments, where to put the money? Are you talking about how to deploy it to continue to grow your business? What are you talking about?
I think it's just in general, in your business, because as we start growing, we understand we can actually see, depending on the type of people or type of business we're running, how much money we're making, because, it just ties to that. So I guess that when the conversation came to me, when the answer came to me, like, what I wanted $1 million. I just thought that having or making $1 million in my business was just going to fix my problems or fix everything that I had. And that's not the case. It actually creates more issues, more problems if you're not ready.
Yeah.
So I guess it was more for me of like, be prepared mentally, be prepared with my guys, have systems in place, have the right approach to it, because you don't see the money. It's not like you're going to get $1 million to your hand and you're going to, whoa,
you're on TV. No. It's like you win the lottery.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
Hey, your business may make $1 million, but you're in debt $50,000, $100,000, and you're not making it. So does that matter? No, So I guess that's what I got from him when he said, prepare yourself. And that's what I did. I educated myself, and I went deep in it. I was like, I want more than $1 million. So he gave me the little push.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, my experience with $1 million was similar, and it's important to know, because when you're not there or you've never been there, you think like, oh my gosh, that's the benchmark. You get to 7 figures, but by the time you get there, you're mentally so far beyond there, because you've put in so much work, and you've built such an infrastructure that it's not the moment you think it's going to be, typically, because you've already pushed so hard. And that it's important, that concept of longevity and building your business for longevity and thinking long term. It's not you get $1 million, you go on a cruise, and all of a sudden you're retired and your life is perfect. You're an old man at that point. You've been battered. You're at running a $10 million company. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm only at $1 million. So it's not to be discouraging. That's the kind of work and the time it takes.
Misconception we have is that the more money we make, the less we're gonna do. And let me tell you, I don't agree with that. I believe that the more
Says the
money
guy who leaves work at 3 to pick up his dog.
Hey, but I go work at home, okay? I choose where I can
go
work.
You'll be working in the park. You did say that.
Right, No, but what happens is, like, you have more work. It's just what I've noticed in our company. So last couple of years have been a little tough, because I guess we got to that plateau, and like we needed to grow to our next step. But I didn't just want to grow. We want to grow, but I want to make sure that we scale up, right? So I realized that we are going to work more, that I am going to work more than I've worked before, but I get to choose when and on what I'm going to work. I think that's the big difference. And to me, that's my selling ticket. If I get to choose where and when, I'm happy. I'll work for the rest of my life. And that's how I see it.
Yeah. Then you're getting to enjoy it a lot more.
Right? Yeah. I'm supposed to be like, oh, I gotta spray what today? No, why?
There was a follow-up question to that. So, do you agree knowledge is power, and that educating yourself makes your life easier?
150, 60, 200%.
I was pretty sure you're going to say no to that one.
Why? Why you say that? No, you know what it does. The minute when your limited beliefs really hold you down. I think in the last 2 years, I have experienced things that I never really thought I would ever in my life, and it's all because of what we do and the choices we make to do. Many people, many contractors, many business owners don't get to grow because they don't want to do the uncomfortable part. They don't want to get up at 5 a.m. They don't want to go do this. They don't want to talk to people. They want to live their life. And most of us, if we do that, we're never going to have that opportunity. I feel that I can give myself 5 more years of hard work. Then after that, if I don't work anymore, I think I've proven myself, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
right?
Do the right thing every day for an extended period of time, and you'll be amazed.
Do the tough thing every day, because do at least one tough thing every day. I think that's something that if you do that every day, you're never gonna run out of things, but at least you're gonna cut at it every single day.
Yep. So we have John and Lena asked a question. They're both here. They confirmed. Excellent. What's going on, guys? They said, what are some ways that you reward your employees? Do you have merits or goals that they meet? They know that you host weekly meetings. Is this your leads only, or with the entire teams?
Yeah, lead man, we do every Monday. We sit around for almost an hour and we talk about a lead man, where our projects were last week and what our projects are next week. On top of that, every first Monday of the month, we have our monthly meeting, and that's everyone in the company. We bring coffee, donuts. Sometimes my mom makes like tamales and stuff like that. And then for an hour we chat. We have the employee of the month, so that's always been very great for us, because having the employee of the month has been great, because now it gives the bragging rights to someone. Say, hey, guess what? I'm the employee of the month. On top of that, we do give not we don't do bonuses, but we give out money quite often to our guys for a job well done. We do parties throughout the year, so we're just planning our Christmas party right now for December 15th, and we make it very eventful. We make it to where like it's not just like we sit down and have dinner. No, we have a whole event. We show up early. We have our drinks. We have games. So we try to keep everyone engaged. For the summer, we had our party too, and then we bring like a mechanical bull. We have a lot of activities for the kids. So it's a family event. So a lot of times, if you understand, people, not everyone is driven by money. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta understand. I read this book about the 5 languages of love, and everybody has a different language of love. And I think a lot of our Hispanics really love the family, the connection, and that's something that we've been able to create in our company. But we do want to establish our business a lot more to have constant bonuses for our guys. I think that will be awesome as we move forward.
Yeah, I love incentive-based compensation. So
Incentives, yes.
a lot of people, and it does vary by person. A lot of people respond really well to recognition and appreciation.
Yeah.
So and oftentimes it can actually be more cost effective as well. So if you had two estimators going out there and you had sales targets that they were going for, or you were trying to get people to generate 5-star reviews, you can create a competition and ultimately after a quarter, half year, whatever, give them a cruise. And like
Yes.
2 or 3 days, it's like $500. But how much value are you going to get out of that? They get recognized, they get a cruise. It's a whole thing, and for you, it's a drop in the bucket relative to the value that the company received.
That's true, and that's what we started this incentive because we feel we can manage them. It's very important too that if you're gonna start an incentive, that becomes a standard. Don't just do it once and then you forgot about it, because then it takes that credibility away from you as well.
Yeah, if you're as a company or a leadership team, you start an initiative and stop it, start another one, start, you start to lose respect of your team.
Yes, a lot, and that's not good.
Yeah. Cindy asks, let's start putting some of these up here. How is working and including your family in the business?
How is working and including my family? Like immediate family or family?
Just like having the family, having your family work with you in the business. How is
so we can all agree that sometimes family can be a challenge. But like, you met Big Joe, and his family,
I love that. I'm just gonna call him
that. Big Joe. That's what we're gonna call him from now on. We gotta get a hat too with Big Joe.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's been great. It has its challenges working with family, but more than anything, I think it's I used to be someone that didn't like confronting people. I didn't like confrontation. I was like okay with that things just for being with them, but I believe that in the last couple of years I've learned to speak for myself, because if I'm not comfortable, then I cannot be the best, portion, the best part of myself. So that included confronting people, and I guess anyone that comes into our business, family, no family, they understand that this is a business. Here, you're not my son. Here, you're not my brother-in-law. Here, you're not my sister. Here, you are a part of Illusions. And that's been great. I think that's what really helped us to understand, like, oh, no, Joe tells his son, it's like, you're not my son here. Okay, you are Kevin, and you're another employee of Illusions.
Yeah.
And as bad as it sounds, I think that's really what's made us be okay.
And I know one of the things that you talked about in the series was letting people go, how that's difficult, but you use KPIs. You go every 6 months, key performance indicators every 6 months, so they know the standard. And so it's not actually you letting them go, is that there was a written standard. They knew the standard, agreed to the standard. They didn't meet the standard. Therefore, the consequences are that they have to go. Not, oh, Juan doesn't like them, or there's nothing personal about it. It's business.
No, I think I've taken myself a lot out of the equation, and it's just being like, this is Illusions. I am I am a member of Illusions Painting. You are a member of Illusions, and we all are, and we all have a key function in this, in this company. And as long as you do what you need to do, and the better you do it, the better it's going to be for you. And so I think that's very important in any business. And if you can create that culture, then you can actually work with pretty much anyone. It doesn't just have to be family.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. So we have another question here. What strategies have helped you improve in your business? For example, being more organized.
God, I mean, we just started doing so 2 years ago, when Patty came in to our office, we had no organization. I mean, we were all over the place. We couldn't find what type of material we use in the job. So she put everything digital. I think about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I made a thing to start writing everything that we needed to do in our company. Every meeting we had, I want someone to write down like an SOP on that. Like, just write it down on a paper, just these are our standards for how do you throw the garbage out, or how do you answer the phone. So we started doing all of those, started doing them. So now what he has come to is like, we have an estimated system. We have Jobber, which is amazing. It's an estimating system. It's a CRM, and it has everything incorporated into one. But because we've taken all the time to create all these data, that now we can input it to this system, and that's really making our life so much easier right now. It's just everything is in one place. If you can systemize your business, that's the best way to improve your business and for it to be organized. Because when it's organized, you're gonna have a lot more time for yourself.
Yeah, systematizing is huge. And so you said how to take the garbage out. You have an SOP for that?
No, I'm just kind of getting a little creative, but it's just, but you want to,
like
right? Because I'm getting an issue sometimes where I'm like, I show up to the office, I'm like, there's garbage here, like,
yeah.
So we know that who needs to take it out, but I need to put it in a system. When I do, I'll share one with you.
No, I think it's a great point though. Like how to take the garbage out. I mean, how to answer the phone. That's pretty important. People way underestimate that. That's your first point of contact with a potential customer. So but how to take out the garbage would seem pretty ridiculous, except you can get down to that level of detail. Then there's no walking in and the office is dirty.
Something that I wanted to do in my business. I didn't want to have a call on my cell phone from work. For over 12, 13 years, every phone call, everything that came to the business came to my cell phone, because I didn't have like an office number or anything. It was frustrating. It's like you have to answer to everything. And that's something that it took me a little while, but now everything goes to our office. And if you listen to my voicemail, it's like, I've learned this from Nick Slavic, actually. It's like, there's an office, you can call, you can send an email, and you can get a quote. If there's an emergency, you can call this person. If there's this, you can call this department. Basically, don't call me, but it's just, but I think it was just more for, by being able to do that, you control your time. You control what you want and what you do, and not your business controlling you.
Yeah. What has been the most rewarding part of your journey so far?
The most rewarding part, God, there's a lot of them. There's quite a few of them. There's this thing, it says that basically living life the way you want it to live. Honestly, I think at the end of the day, being able to wake up in a different part of the country and being able to make a couple phone calls, and you go on with your life and your intentions to improve your life, but then you have a business back at home that is producing and is creating the lifestyle that you have. I think that's very rewarding. I mean, then you have the family, then you have all these things, but personally, I think it's something, if we're talking about professionally, I think that's one of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
You're not tied up to that.
The freedom, I think, is a reason a lot of people go into business for themselves.
That's one of the main reasons why we go into business, right?
Yeah. Someone asked if we were talking about $1 million dollars for the business. So in sales, revenue, or $1 million in your pocket, we were talking about sales. So
yeah, sales, please. I do say that someday if I can get to $1 million for me, then God, I'll be in heaven. But
we'll have you back on, but you won't though, because then you're going to come on and be like, it'll be the same thing.
Right?
No. Do you have any regrets? So in growing your business, any regrets with it?
Yeah, I do. I'm not doing this sooner. Like I said, I've been in business since I went on my own in 2005. I started my business officially in 2007. So I didn't attend to PCA until 2018. So that's, 11, 12 years after. But I don't know, but honestly, I don't have a lot of regrets because I think right now the only thing that's hurting most is family time because I'm gone quite a bit. But don't have a lot of regrets because my kids are, I have a 25-year-old and a 15-year-old, so I've been with them in the past years. So regrets, not many. Many I could have started earlier, but I wasn't ready.
Yeah. Yep. What's that saying? Like when the pupil is ready, the master shall appear, or something like that.
No, I don't know that one.
Some kind of yeah. What recommendations do you have for the people listening, who haven't maybe gone through all the transformation that you have? What recommendations do you have that they could start implementing today?
I mean, it all depends on where stage you're in your business. Would you agree? I mean, every stage, we're in different stages in our business, right? I mean, the issues I had 4 years ago cannot compare to the issues I have right now. I've had this, I've had some comments sometimes from guys who come to you and they're like, "Oh yeah, but you have this. Oh, but it's easier for you to say." But it's not easy for me to say. It's easy for me to say now because I've gone to the travel. I've gone to all these issues, but I have new issues now. And I think that the issues I have now, they might be a little bigger, but since I'm in a different mentality, they don't hit me as bad.
Yeah.
The challenges can grow from time. Every time. If you're growing, your challenges are growing.
Is there any? So we talked about organization, talked about going to events, opening your mind, right? Understanding believing what's possible for you. But as you grow, you have growing pains. You've had more growing pains than a lot of people listening to this. Is there anything aside from the organization, because that's 100% going to help people, but anything else you would recommend that might be able to avoid some of these growing pains between where they are and where you are?
Some people work very well alone, but I do believe that in order to create something unique and something greater, you need a team. So I think that is very great to surround yourself with great people who understand your vision, and do understand that. So you have two ways of doing this, right? As you're growing, I think that you can either be very successful and grab all the fruits from your success and enjoy life as it goes. Some other people like grab all these fruits of their their other fruits and they grow it, but they never get to enjoy it. I think that for me the biggest thing is right now is enjoy what I'm doing. Like really be there for my family, grow something unique, be there for the industry, live life right now. Like I think to me that will be the greatest thing. Enjoy what you're doing because we're gonna move forward and we're gonna do these huge things in our lives, but we never took the time to enjoy them. They didn't exist if that doesn't happen. Let me just point something out. Reading. I don't read. I listen to books. Before the PCA, I don't think I've ever read a whole book other than like textbooks at school. But I listened to quite a few. So the other day I was listening to Who, Not How. And a lot of things I've done in the business the last couple of years, they really revolve about what I read or listen to in books, and Who Not How just gave me something that I needed at the moment just a couple months ago. Understanding that before it was like, I don't know how, but I'm going to do this. But when you realize these big companies, they find the who is going to do this for me, who will this, we surround ourselves with who's, who I am a who to someone else, I am, I'm a resource to someone, so the who is the resource. And so understanding that, I think it helps you grow the business and grow your mind towards that.
Yeah, I love it. Great people. Great people make great companies.
Right,
Along that
you can
line,
do it on your own.
yeah, like Juan's saying, he gives back to his team. He has structured KPIs. He rewards people. Great people are not going to go work for a crap company. It's not going to
Mhm.
happen. So make sure you build a company where people want to come. And then also that point about relishing where you're at. It's what we do is hard, right? What we're
Oh,
all
yeah.
doing. You're growing a business is hard. So try to find the points of enjoyment, because if you just sit there and suffer and you do want to take that long game, but if you don't find some way to enjoy what you're doing right now, it's gonna be an unnecessarily painful road.
Yeah.
Um, Someone asked, I hear many things about startup this and startup that. Is there a bona fide channel that you can suggest for grants for minority owned startups?
Hmm. I don't know much about it. Just recently now, I've heard about like certifications that you can get by being a minority group or contractor. I know they are, but to be honest with you, I've never explored that. But at the end of the day, that's where we need to find those kind of things, because I know they are out there. We just need to do our homework and start network with people who may do those. I don't, but I think that in the future, as I keep moving forward, as soon as I find something, I would love to share.
Yeah. I saw someone put Los Pintores in here. So Juan runs a podcast. Big
Yeah,
deal.
baby.
You want to quickly plug that? How people can
Uh,
find them?
I mean, and we talked about this. Here we are with your podcast. Uh, you know, we got to experience, I mean, this great experience we've had last. And when I say we, Jose, Big Joe, Jose, my business partner, he's a big part of what we do. I am the one on the board. I am the one, in the speakers bureau. I am the one that does all these things. He's more in the background. And like he says, he's like, you do what you need to do. I'll back you up. And that's awesome, man. For someone to just say, hey, I got your back. Perfect. But so as we're around the country talking about these kind of things, and we want to connect with more people, we're like, how can we do that? I mean, because here we are, here you have Juan, talking about his life and how he went through all these struggles and but guess what? Every other painter out there has gone through something similar or the same struggles. So with Los Pintores is every time that we have someone in our podcast, it's great because they get to talk about their experience, how is it that they get into the industry, where they are, and they share their life. And I think to me that's just now we're elevating a lot more people. We are just that platform where we actually, like, how can I say, we try to bring people together. At the end of the day, this business is not all about the money, but it's all the connections that we're making. I really want to live this life and live a legacy, that we did something. And I guess that's where Los Pintores has come out, for a way for everyone to just communicate and know. I may have someone in the podcast that be like, oh dude, I know this guy, oh I've met this guy, or this guy's in this state, and that's just great. The other big part, so right now for us, is how can we contribute. We want to create sponsorships. I am working with a couple of the companies on how we can create a sponsorship in our area, but we want to, like for Illusions, we're going to start launching our brand, and it's all, I mean, we gave out the shirts, we gave out the hats, but we want to make sure that maybe if we can have a whole group helping and just paying for that We don't want to make money. We just want those proceeds to go help someone in need, someone who wants to grow in the business, someone who can do this. So because now it's what we do that's helping someone else, not helping my bottom line. So that whole thing, I guess, is a great experience that we've been working on. So there you go. Yeah, baby.
Torres t-shirts and your sponsor on the expo. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I meant to wear it and then I forgot. I apologize, Juan.
Come on, man.
So I said over there. So I am going to wrap up to respect everybody's time. Juan, if people, if people have follow-up questions, they can ask in the Facebook group. They can tag you. Is there another way that they can communicate with you if they want to send you a direct message or something like that?
Everyone I've met, they understand. They know that I'm a jokester. I can joke around. I can, I can be all these things. But when it comes down to networking and stuff, myself and Jose are always available. You can find us on Facebook. You'll find us on Instagram. I even give you myself a number there. Call me at any time. But on illusions.painting, you can find us there. Juan V005. That's my personal account on Facebook. You can find us at Illusions Painting. We're gonna do our best to work with help. Just really quick. We just went to an event last month to LA. So yesterday and today we've had a couple who's been painting for 3 months. We met them and they're like, can we come over there and visit you in your office? And so they're here yesterday and today. So they're being around the office. They've gone to our shop. They've gone to our jobs. We given them everything that we do here. And hopefully that this is going to help them really expedite their business. So if we can do that, I think we're sold.
Juan, you've been called a role model for the Hispanic community. You've been called the
I don't know about that one.
Of the Hispanic community. You've been called quite a few positive things in this podcast.
I'm just another Juan, man. I'm just another Juan.
Man, I appreciate you joining.
Guys. Thank you.
For all the listeners, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any questions, reach out in the Facebook group. Thank you guys and have a wonderful day.
Guys, thank you so much for everyone. We'll see you guys soon. Adios, amigos.
If you want to learn more about the topics we discussed in this podcast and how you can use them to grow your painting business, visit paintermarketingpros.com/podcast for free training, as well as the ability to schedule a personalized strategy session for your painting company. Again, that URL is paintermarketingpros.com/podcast. Hey there, painting company owners. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give us your feedback. Let us know how we did. And also, if you're interested in taking your painting business to the next level, make sure you visit the Painter Marketing Pros website at paintermarketingpros.com to learn more about our services. You can also reach out to me directly by emailing me at brandon@paintermarketingpros.com, and I can give you personalized advice on growing your painting business. Until next time, keep growing.